Here's my brand new mini PC by ACEMAGIC. They reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to review their mini PC. This is an 11th gen Intel 11800H powered machine. It's a little bit bigger than those small box models that you can get. They of course do offer those as well, but there's other brands as well that you've seen, those small box kind of options. The benefit of this one here is that it is a tiny bit bigger. You get a little bit more volume at the top there. However, it does have incredibly capable cooling inside the unit. Ooh, okay, very nice presentation. Accessories first. Ooh, there's all kinds of goodies in here. Excellent. So what do we have here? So an HDMI, not too long. What do we got here? Power. So obviously it's got a power. That'll go into the brick here. Power brick. 120 watts. So that actually puts out a good amount of power. Okay, it's actually not as big as I thought. I was worried it was going to be really big, but we can see there. That's a look at the device. So it's actually not huge. It's a nice size though. On the back of the device, you can see we have two USB-A ports there. These are Gen 3, so they're going to be nice and fast. We have HDMI on the back here to output to your video. A second HDMI there, so you can actually power two displays at the same time. We have LAN, so we can do some Ethernet as well. RJ45s. And then we actually have a Kensington lock slot, so you can lock this down if you're using it in the office. Ventilation, this thing can push a lot of air, so there's a big vent there. You'll see when I do the teardown. On the front here, we have even more ports. So we have two more USB-A on the front here. Again, the fast ones. USB-C, so if you want to run like an NVMe enclosure off of this. I have my games on a USB-C based NVMe enclosure that I'm going to put in the front of this and do my game tests there. So I get nice fast load times. And then audio, so if you want to use, if you want to use speakers or if you want to use a headphone jack or something like that, you can put it in there. These guys do offer some of those smaller form factor mini PCs, the box style ones. So you can see here, I have one of those box style ones here. So you can see it is bigger than that. A little bit bigger back to front, you can see there. But there are advantages to this as well. So when you look at these units here, you'll see I'm going to do a teardown shortly and look at the internals of this. You'll see the size of the cooling solution inside this ACEMAGIC device here. And you'll really see that you'll be able to push your chips a lot harder and get a lot more performance out of them because the cooling solution in this is still very robust. Really not going to bother anybody over there. Nice and sleek. You still get access to all your I/O. Just a tiny little guy sitting on the corner there. This is one of those Lenovo Think Centers. You can get these, they've had them forever. The Lenovo is actually about the same height, just a tiny bit shorter. Width-wise, the Lenovo is much bigger actually. So you can see how much wider it is there. That's about 1.5 inches, 3 centimeters or so. So it's actually quite a bit wider there. Thickness, the ACEMAGIC is a little thicker. You'll see why when we open it up. I know why, but we'll see. But interestingly, this is all metal, so it's actually really heavy. You have a nice clean kind of interface here. So we have our RAM here, we have our NVMe here, and we have our SSD slot right there, right in front of us. And then this will keep it nice and sturdy, so it's not going to fall over. I'll put in a 2 terabyte, I think, in there. Here's our RAM here, so 2 sticks of them here. So let's see. They actually gave me a good amount of RAM on this, but you can add more. You can spec this however you want. So this, I think, is 8 gigabytes. So there's an 8 gigabyte stick there. This is the RAM that comes with it. It's 2666 megahertz. You can see there. The NVMe is in here. I just want to take it out. I can check this in Windows, but what I want to see is what this heatsink looks like here. So that screws down. Yeah, so we have the NVMe here. I'm not sure what brand it is. It might just be some off-brand. Who knows? Nice little heatsink on it. Yep, and NetTech. I've actually seen these before on Amazon before. So we get the NVMe there. Little heatsink on it, which is nice. So if you put in a high capacity, really fast drive or something like that, you don't have to worry about heat. I actually like the idea of these little elastics. You don't have to make everything super complicated and put all this complex screws and mechanics on there. Just stick that on there and it's done, right? Nice and easy. So okay, so I took out some screws here. 1, 2. So I took out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws, and then this piece comes out here. We have our SATA wired up there. I'm gonna just leave it in there. That's the motherboard there. So you can see there. There's your NVMe slot. This is your bracket. On the flip side will be the PC, the CPU. Wi-Fi in here. So technically you can upgrade the Wi-Fi. These guys put in the work to design a high-end product. I think it's nice to show it off so that people look inside and say, okay, this thing's actually built well. So far it looks to be built well. Okay. Oh, that's a huge fan. Wow, that's a huge fan. Okay, so impressive. See, this is why we open things up. A little heatsink on there, another header there of some kind. So, you know, this might be a motherboard that they repurpose for other devices. I'm sure that it is. So, you know, there might be other fans or something like that hooked up. But that's the SATA there. Power for the SATA there. So that is very nice. Look at the size of this fan. That is a huge fan. Radiator there. Very good. Two nice copper fans going in. I don't want to take the fan off because, I mean, everything looked good under there, but you can see the chip is soldered. There's your chip. Nice big vent on it. So I actually suspect this is going to run quite cool, actually, and probably quiet, because that is a huge fan. So I have here the three different PCs. I have the ACEMAGIC over here, which represents its own brand and kind of this larger volume size here. Still definitely a mini PC, but it's a little bit bigger. I have the OEM style here. This is a Lenovo Think Center. Dell makes these. I've had a couple Dells, and then HP makes them. I never had an HP one, but that's basically this style here. And then I have over here kind of the mini box style. This is a B-Link model, and this is a different style. So we'll start here with what I'd consider kind of the weakest of the cooling solutions here. I've had several of these, one with an Intel 8700T, 10400T, and then this is the AMD model here, 5350GE. So you can see how it works. You know, the fan is not that really dense or anything like that. You know, you have these, I don't know, they're spaced out quite a bit. The actual fins themselves are not dense. They are curved a bit, so you'll get some airflow. It does move air, but the surface area of the fins is just not very high. And the amount of air that it blows out the back, I mean, even this thing is absolutely ripping. It does blow air, but it's not that much, to be honest. Not even remotely close to a laptop or something like that. So what it does is it basically blows air out the back of this tube here, and it basically tries to run air over this radiator. So I do find that these run cool, to be honest. These systems here, they don't have heat problems by any means, but the fans do run noisy. Even when it's, I'm not really doing much, the fans do kind of run. You can hear them. They're kind of annoying. When you really get this thing going, it can make a bit of noise and be a little bit annoying. Here we have the B-Link here. There is a big fan on the back here, so you can see here, basically a laptop style fan, but a thick laptop style, like a gaming style laptop fan. They can get noisy as well, but I mean, they're nowhere near as noisy as this over here because you are moving a lot of heat. Now, again, passively, the passive cooling out of this, you just have that copper, so there's not as much passive cooling, so the fan does need to go to really move the air out. And then we move up here to this ACEMAGIC one, which has a gigantic fan on it. This thing is huge. So the actual fan itself is quite large. You can see the fan is about the same diameter as the B-Link one over here, but it's quite a bit thicker. You can see there, that's a very thick fan. I'd say 25 to 30% thicker on that fan right there. So you're going to be moving like a lot of air overall. Underneath there, you can see it's a little bit different the way the heat moves out because this one here actually has heat pipes. This one is going to be obviously the most robust, but you're going to move air. You're going to be moving more air because it's a bigger fan. So there'll be more air moving out of this one than the other tube, specifically more than the OEM, a ton more than that. And it also has the heat pipe solution here. So you have kind of two activations where the heat is moving up these heat pipes here into here and being evacuated off. Running some Cinebench here, R23. You can see here my desktop computer is not doing anything, it's noisy. Very, very, very quiet. This is kind of the ambient noise of my room. Here's how quiet the device is. I'm actually running some benchmarks, some video editing benchmarks, so the system is going pretty intensely. Just for comparison here, I'm running Cinebench on this B-Link mini PC. This is a smaller style, one of those box style PCs. So definitely noisier, you can see. But you can see here, it had an initial spike for a moment there. When the fans weren't going, it just spiked up and then the fan kicked in. But you can see how cool this is running. Current, I mean, we're running Cinebench here. And you can see the CPU is at 100%. So the CPU is absolutely ripping right now. And look how cool it's running. 72, 70, and 70. So you're basically getting 70 here. Scores look good here. So just shy of 10K on the CPU for multi-core, 1500 for a single core. So honestly, good performance. You know, it's not going to match 13800, 13900 HX or something like that. But I mean, this is good performance overall, and you'll be able to do tasks like, you know, 4K video editing with this, no problems whatsoever. And you can see here on this Lenovo mini PC, again, this would represent lots of different options, how much hotter it is. I mean, it's just idling. There's nothing going on here at 65, 60, this is only 50 and 50, but significantly hotter than the ACEMAGIC. This is like what ACEMAGIC was running at when I was doing Cinebench. So we'll come in here. Over 50 dB from this one. That fan has to work a lot harder to move air to keep a chip like this cool. And again, this is not a hot chip. The 5350G is not a hot chip. And you can see here the temperatures, you know, we're getting quite a bit hotter on this B-Link CPU. Still fine, to be honest. We're still looking at, you know, 80 or 70 degrees. However, on the ACEMAGIC over here, you know, we're getting significantly lower temperatures, despite the fact that the 11800H is a very hot CPU. This is a 500H. They're actually, one's Intel, one's Apple. One's Intel, one's AMD, but they're actually very, very comparable. They're basically almost one-to-one in many ways. This obviously runs a little bit noisier, not a lot noisier, but, you know, 5 dB, 4 dB, that is considerable. Still quiet. I mean, you can set it off to the side, it's not going to bother you. But the other thing is it runs hotter too. Like, it's just objectively running hotter. So Bluetooth connected right away. You can see I'm connected to MX keys. It's my keyboard. Wi-Fi connected right away as well. So no issues there. Basically just logged in. 11800H. It is a couple years old, but it's a very powerful processor. So it's an i7. You know, we have here, this is before P and E cores. So we get 8 true cores, just full bore 8 cores, 16 threads. So it's going to be quite capable. Oh, there we go. So 2666 basically. Dual channel, as you can see here. Yeah, so I mean, they just basically probably assemble these machines and then toss Windows on it. So, you know, there's like no bloat whatsoever on here. Just the Intel stuff here. They probably load up Windows the first time, get the drivers, and then actually reset the computer would be my assumption here, because this is super clean, no bloat at all. Literally the base you're going to get with a fresh Windows install. You can see here the rest of what we get here. So we get Windows 11 Pro. Ooh, nice. Windows 11 Pro. Very good. I mean, Windows 11 Pro is like $250 or something like that. So it's nice that it comes with Windows 11 Pro rather than Home. We're on a speed test here and see what we get. I don't think it's actually a super fast drive, but it'll be fine for, you know, Windows and that. Of course, it is swappable, so you could easily just, you know, yeah. So it's a SATA drive that comes with it. It's not an NVMe, so it's an M.2 SATA drive, but of course it does support M.2 NVMe. So if you have an M.2 NVMe, you could just put it in. They cost basically nothing nowadays. Here's a look at some benchmark results here. So you can see the Cinebench score that ends up a little over 9,000. We're at 9,300 or so. So going to be much more capable than a lot of these mini PCs with those, you know, Celeron type CPUs inside of them, you know, the N95 or whatever they are. They're nowhere near as capable as something of this 11800H. So if you need to get serious work done, 4K video editing, that kind of work, this CPU here will actually be capable of doing that. It's not just going to be used for day-to-day media streaming. This is actually a capable mini PC. Jump over here to the Ethernet. We can see it's very, very fast. This is as fast as my Ethernet can go. I have gigabit Ethernet, and we're getting gigabit speeds. Potentially it could go faster, but I just don't have internet that goes faster than that. So you can see here, very, very fast Ethernet on this unit here. Wi-Fi is also very capable, 600 megabytes a second, 500 upload, 580 upload. This again is as fast as my Ethernet. This is as fast as my Wi-Fi goes. Potentially it could go faster on the actual chip, but it's running very, very quick here. Then the last benchmark here, I did some video editing benchmark Pro-Con. And you can see here that it's getting a score of 1,789. This is a new benchmark that I'm just going to start doing in all my videos, but based on what I'm checking online, this means that it's basically going to be very capable for doing video editing, 4K video editing, that kind of stuff as well. And so, of course, you can output from one of the 2 HDMIs on the back here, so you can get, you know, dual 4K setup, no problem there whatsoever. But you don't have to output over the HDMI. So you can see there I don't have anything hooked up there, but I'm running over USB-C. So this monitor here does support USB-C, and you know, it's going just into the front of the device there. You can see that I'm running that. One of the advantages of USB-C as well is that you also get audio. So HDMI will give you audio, and so will USB-C. So if you have a monitor like this here that has speakers built into it, you don't have to have speakers plugged into the front of the device. Of course, if you have HDMI, you can do that as well. but USB-C is awesome here. You can see I'm getting sound. You know, I'm getting very, very high resolution. It's a bit of a weird aspect ratio, but you can see there, very, very high resolution screen as well. So we're obviously able to push high resolutions out of that USB-C there. So you can of course use your two HDMIs on the back, but if you find that you don't want to use HDMI, no problem whatsoever using USB-C. I apologize for the mess here, but you know, I'm just trying to hook up as many monitors as I can. I just don't normally use 3 monitors, but you can see here, this mini PC is doing a triple monitor setup without any shenanigans or anything like that. I have this monitor here running off USB-C, plugged into it there. I have this monitor plugged into HDMI, and I have this monitor plugged into HDMI. Of course, there are other options as well. You could get yourself a dongle, stick that in there, get yourself HDMI or DisplayPort if you don't want to just use USB-C to USB-C. Not every monitor supports USB-C. You could hook up yourself a little mini dock or something like that in the front there, stick that in the front there, and then of course you're going to get more HDMI, Ethernet, you know, USB-C, SD cards, all this kind of stuff here, because that's a full-fledged USB-C port there. You know, these mini PCs have come a long way where, yeah, technically a lot of the stuff is maybe not internal to the device, but you could easily set yourself up something like this on the side over there. You can get yourself an NVMe dock. You can get yourself a hard drive dock or something like that. And I have a nice, super clean setup without the need for this giant gaming PC down here. And I have all this storage expansion, all the peripherals that I need. So there's a couple different ways you can buy this item right here. This is the Amazon link here. You can just click on them directly. I'll leave a direct link to the Amazon page. I actually have an Amazon store as well. I'm not affiliated with ACEMAGIC or anything like that, but if you do go through the store and buy an item, I actually get a little bit of commission from Amazon itself, not from ACEMAGIC. So that would be very useful for me. It helps me help support the channel. But of course, you can just go through the link and then click off if you don't want to. If you don't believe in that and you just want to buy directly and you don't want to go through the store. I don't have American Prime. I have Canadian Prime, but it looks like the price is only $3.99. That's actually a really good price for this here. I mean, you are getting a fully capable mini PC. I actually like it quite a bit. 11800H is still very capable. $400 is actually quite good, to be honest, for what you're getting out of it. And it looks like the reviews are actually very solid here. You can see here 82% at 5 stars, 12% at 4. These are almost like non-existent, probably got damaged or something. But you can see here, like some of these are really odd too, like 4 stars, but they're like, it's super impressive. Works well, sturdy yet very light, holds about 4. I mean, why not a 5? If it works exactly as you intended it to, and you think the price is good, then probably a 5. So really, I mean, you're looking at 5-star reviews really here. Looks like Amazon gives it really good reviews. Of course, you can buy from them directly. Up here, it looks like they have a US and Denmark store, German store here. So typically, a lot of these companies will have warehouses. They probably have an American warehouse and a European warehouse, so you can ship through either. So, you know, of course, you can buy it through Amazon if you have an Amazon account, or if you're not an Amazon person, buy from them directly, and they'll ship, you know, right to you. It says right here, US shipping, free, ready to ship, so you can use PayPal, whatever. So whichever is easier for you. But I'll leave both links in the bottom. You can buy from them directly. And you know, you come in here, they have AMD models too. So if you're gonna be doing some gaming type stuff, I mean, you can get in here and jump into like, you know, 7735H, which will perform above a Steam Deck, to be honest. So you can do AAA gaming on something like that. This is, you know, the same processor as the 5800H is Vega graphics. You can game on that too, but you probably lean more towards the 7735 if you want to play games. And you know, they'll have more stuff in the future. This is just one snapshot right now, but okay. And here's a little bit of Batman Arkham City, 1080p medium. You're gonna bleed like a dead cat. I have literally never played this game before. Oh wow, it's actually running really well. Not the newest game, not the most demanding game, but
it's ready to begin. It will be my legacy, a monument to your failure. Batman. It's Batman! It's him! Kill it!
Yep, so as we can see here, Batman Arkham City, a few years old game, but rock solid performance. A little bit of Skyrim here now, so we're at 1080p. We're actually on medium. We're not even on low or anything like that. Shadow of War, 1080p low, native resolution. 29 is the 0.1% lows, so obviously you're going to have no problems playing this game here. You're not even going to have to decrease the resolution. You just have to turn down the scaling a bit. You just have to turn down the settings a little bit. Here's a little bit of Sega Dreamcast. Just kind of running native settings, you know, rather than turning it up or anything like that. You could turn it up, but it's running at 1080p. You know, I could put on smoothing in that, but just a proof of concept here. A little bit of PSP here. Again, just native. You could play around with it with some anti-aliasing and that too. But I mean, you can see here it's running great. 60 FPS. Native 60 FPS. Native 1080p at 60 FPS basically. Now some GameCube again, we're at 1080p, just native, you know, I'm not messing with the settings too much. Let's just get kind of a concept and see how it runs here. Yeah, you can see here it's running perfectly. I have not played this game in so long. So obviously if you want to play some GameCube or by extension Wii, you'll be fine because it's emulating totally fine. There's some drops here and there, but overall it's quite good. So obviously you can see here this machine is quite capable at emulation as long as you're reasonable with the systems that you're emulating. I mean, you're not going to get away with PS3 or anything like that, but the emulation is running great. You know, the CPU on this is quite powerful, so as long as you're not trying to emulate some, you know, very modern super 3D titles, it's going to run really well here for, you know, some older stuff. And then even some native, you know, even a lot of native Windows-based gaming is going to be fine as long as you're at 1080p, you know, medium low. 2015 type era, you'll be totally fine. If you go back earlier than that, then you're going to get even better performance.